Welcome back to Session 0, where I discuss Dungeon World every Wednesday. Today I'll take The Last King, a scenario from the Path to Carcosa from Arkham Horror the card game, and turn it into an adventure front for Dungeon World. Here's a real quick summary of The Last King. After nodding off during the first act of The King in Yellow, you wake up to find some crazy bad things going on in the theater. You decide to go to the after party to gather information from the cast, and while you're there, some of them turn into monsters. This stuff may or may not have actually happened, but that's beyond the scope of this video. So let's get inspired by going to a party where people turn into monsters. The Last King is the second scenario of the Path to Carcosa, in which the investigators go up against He Who Must Not Be Named, who I won't name because he must not be named. With a little research from another source, I learned that there's no love lost between this cult of the Unspeakable One and the Cult of Cthulhu. While I'm not pulling that old one in, it did inspire an adventure front which pits two competing cults against each other. These dangers are nearly identical, and this adventure will start when you introduce a turf war. Then any involvement by the characters will draw the attention of both cults. Things will change when the characters decide which gathering they'll crash to find clues. Whichever they choose, a high-ranking member of the other cult will follow them, thwart the gathering of energy needed for an important ritual by turning people into monsters, and frame the characters for doing so, or at least try to. Each cult member has a different way to go about this, and will transform people into devils and demons, or gibbering mouthers. Going forward, the cult that was thwarted will try to capture the characters, which lets me reuse the pursuit danger from my last video, while the other cult gets to continue with their ritual plans. Then, you just play to find out what happens. The Arkham Horror LCG is another great place to look for inspiration, especially for occult adventures, because most scenarios deal with one cult or another. Its encounter cards are similar to, but different than, the ones from Marvel Champions, which I showed in my last inspiration video. The agenda deck is pretty close to a danger. One or more doom goes on the agenda every turn. When it reaches this threshold, you reveal the back, do what it says, and go to the next agenda. Rinse and repeat. The Act deck provides players with goals which they're trying to accomplish before the agenda deck runs out, or they're defeated. Finally, Arkham Horror creates a map, either up front or during play, which Marvel Champions doesn't. This makes it pretty easy to make a land card, which is my own thing and not Dungeon World, but it comes in handy. That's it for The Last King. I'm going to expand on this with some material you've seen before and some you haven't, and publish it on DriveThruRPG. When that becomes available, I'll put a link in the description below and do a quick video preview. Thanks for watching, and I hope you come back next week for what should be Monster Talk 4: The Lich. Have a great day.